afternoon. It must not be a good afternoon because I didn't hear anything. Hey. Let me try. Oh, I heard a hey, so let me try it again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. Boy, that is a mouthful. I am so glad to be your storyteller for today. My name is Diane Macklin, and we have a special presentation. And please feel free to stay a little bit. Please feel free to check it out and keep on moving, because this is a day where whatever you need can be taken care of, because this is a day for feasting on history and knowing that American history is full and ripe with good stuff and challenging stuff. If you agree, say, Yes, indeed. Okay, you're supposed to do the yes, indeed part, too. This is Black Storytelling, y'all. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, there we go. Now, we do have a friend from the Smithsonian who is filming just to get little glimpses of this program and the other programs. So just so you know, that's why there's a light on you right now, and you can't see me, but that's okay. You'll see me in a second. Now, the one thing I love about being in this space is that the museum was very courageous, and they said, look, you can be in the gallery. I said, yes, thank you. And that I can be right here where Ida B. Wells, where her teacup is and saucer. So I have a question. Does anyone here have a tea set, maybe a serving set, maybe a punch bowl, maybe a candy bowl that was passed down from those that came before you? If you do, say yes.
Yes.
Well, see, that's a lot of folks, because what do? We pass down to the next generation because we want them to have the energy of those that came before them. We want them to remember who they are. This is something your great-grandmother touched. This was something your grandmother served something in. This is something that is important to us, because the spirit of Sankofa is alive and well. Sankofa, try that word.
Sankofa.
It means to go forward in life. You got to look back and know your past. It is an Adinkra symbol. It's from the Akan people in Ghana. And lots of times when you see this symbol, it is a bird that's walking forward, but it's looking back with an egg in its mouth. The egg is future, because we cannot have a positive future if we do not look back and know our past, which is why whenever you look at this teacup and saucer and plate, I want you to see something more than just a teacup. I want you to use your imagination and envision someone sitting there. Someone sitting there with other people with her. Swirling maybe a little bit of sugar in those teacups, because sometimes we need a little bit of sugar to help things to go down. But having conversation, talking about things that are difficult, whether it's because someone in your family experienced the harshness of a reality that you would never pick for your worst enemy, which is to be lynched, which is to be killed for sometimes nothing at all other than the fact that you took breath. Maybe you are sitting there with Ida B. Wells. Maybe you're someone that needed to hear the story of that person. But this teacup has the energy of those that were searching for a way to live in community with those that struggled to be in community with them. And you do it through the power of the word. The power of the what?
The word.
Oh man, you guys are really good. Because with word, we can know what is happening. And Ida B. Wells, that's what she needed people to know. She knew people had good hearts, no matter the color of their skin, no matter where their ancestors were from. They had goodness in them. But how could you exercise your goodness if you didn't know where to put it towards? And so that's what I want you to imagine when you see this. This is not just a teacup. You too have something in your home that has a history, that has a story, that is waiting for you to tell it. Now, I like to think of Ida B. Wells when she took breath. July 16th, 1862, that her parents looked at her and knew that she'd been hearing the time. She'd heard people in distress. She heard people in joy. She heard people in love, and she heard hate, even while she was in the womb. But it fed her spirit to want to come out into the world. Take that deep breath and exhale justice. Take that deep breath and exhale what is right and what is good. And that she grew up into this woman who saw that she had a gift. She could look at society and be a sociologist and figure out what some of the ills were. She was someone who had the gift of being able to write down with those words the power of truth. Because when truth shines on a problem, that's when it can turn into something good. But I also believe she was a woman who gathered stories within her and around her. In that 11:30 set, I told a story about High John because some friends don't know the folk heroes that she probably even heard stories of, because we told those stories back then. We knew the value of them back then. And some people know the value of them now. I think I'm with the group that does. If you know the value of our folk stories, can I hear you say amen?
Amen.
See, I knew this is Sunday. Well, one story that I do believe she may have heard, and she may have even told, was one of the Brer Rabbit stories. Now, I've got to tell you, Brer Rabbit hops through time and space, but so does High John, but he walks, not hops. But those stories go side by side, and sometimes they're the same story. They're American folk stories with African roots, and they're grounded in the idea that everyone is free. There may be laws that disrespect it, and there may be hearts that don't honor it, but everyone is free. And I like that hand went up with that. That's right. Because I will tell you, on her half birthday, she got a present. January 1st, 1863 was Emancipation Proclamation. This child breathed in freedom and justice. And so as a young woman, as I said, I hope that she heard this story. And it's a Brer Rabbit story. Now, hold on, friends. Let me tell you something. People think that those Brer Rabbit stories for children, they weren't. They were actually never told to the children, because a lot of times on a plantation, all the children played together. It was only at a certain age that some folks decided that that's when they would exercise their power to tell some folks what to do and others what they could not do. But the children played together, and they didn't want one child to go to the other child and say, "Your daddy's in that story, and did you hear? He got his butt beat." Ooh! You didn't want the children to do that. So you didn't tell these stories to children. It's only now we put them as if they're children's stories. But they were stories to help keep hope in the community. As I said, she knew the power of story. She was a journalist. She knew the power of the word, whether it was written or spoken. That's why she gathered people in her home, in her parlor, and she talked with them with that tea, maybe with a little bit of sugar. And so these Brer Rabbit stories are stories that are to inspire us to be in our best good and recognize that sometimes we struggle with our good. So this story, I will say, I found in a book. And this book is called Every Tongue Gotta Confess by Zora Neale Hurston. And it was only about that big, and I stretched it out and made it a story that fit me. Brer Rabbit woke up in the briar patch and said, "It's a good day to get me some fine, fresh victuals." And so he popped out of that briar patch. He went a hip-hoppity, hippity-hop. He went a hip-hopping along. He went a hip-hoppity, hippity-hop. He went a hip-hopping along. If you like that too, you can hip-hop and snap your... Then, okay, let's try it. You went a hip-hoppity, hippity-hop. You went a hip-hopping along. Good job. You went a hip-hoppity, hippity-hop. You went a hip-hopping along. That's it. You went a hip-hoppity, hippity-hop. You went a hip-hopping along. You went a hip-hoppity, hippity-hop. You went a hip-hopping along. Some people like smile like, "Oh no, she's not going to get me to dance. She's not going to get me to dance." Well, he was hip and he was hopping and he knew where he was going. He was going to Farmer Engerman's vegetable patch. Farmer Engerman had a little bit of problem with the community. He had a lot, but he didn't like to share any. He especially didn't like to share with the rabbits because he would put up fences, he would put out traps, and they always were able to get into his garden, into his vegetable patch. Now, he had so much food that sometimes he would let it spoil, and the rabbits were just trying to help him to understand that in the community, those that have much should at least share a little. And so Brer Rabbit showed up where that vegetable patch should be and said, "Oh, there were no vegetables. The ground wasn't turned up. Nothing had been planted." He looked all around, and then he looked across the river. And there was the vegetable patch. Now, Farmer Engerman always grew that vegetable patch on this side because that's where his home was. But he put it on the other side, and when Brer Rabbit looked, he saw Farmer Engerman. "Brer Rabbit, I've had up to here with you rabbits, nibbling here, nibbling there like you've been doing for years. I'd like to see you get into my vegetable patch on this side of the river."
Clearly, someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And did you ever think that maybe rabbits can swim?
Look at the water. Now, he hadn't been looking at the water, But when he looked, he saw eyes pop up. Boop, 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 boop. He saw these long jaws and sharp, rugged teeth. He saw a long tail looking like dinosaurs in the water. They were
Gators.
Brer Rabbit, come on in for a swim. We could use a snack.
No, thank you. The water looks a little chilly to me.
Oh, Farmer Angryman was delighted. Stock my river full of alligators. One paw in, you're done. Have a good day, Brer Rabbit. And he skipped off. He was so happy about it. Now, Brer Rabbit looked around and said,
I think I overstayed my welcome.
peace. You want to hip, hoppity, hippity, hop. You want to hip, hop along. You got it. You want to hip, hoppity, hippity, hop. You want to hip, hop along. You want to hip, hoppity, hippity, hop. You want to hip, hop along. That's it. You want to hip, hoppity, hippity, hop. You want to hip, hop. Y'all got to give her a hand because she's doing that. Well, he was hippity, he was hopping. He knew someone other than Farmer Angerman needed to learn a lesson that day. So Brer Rabbit hid in the bushes and waited till Farmer Angerman got in a boat, rowed over to the other side, and went inside of his home. He came out, put his little paw in the water, shook it around, and those alligators came up. And they said, Brer Rabbit, you ready for that swim?
Indeed I am. Indeed I am. I'm quick. I'm fast. I'm going to take off across that river. You're not going to catch me because there's not that many of you.
There's a lot of us, and one of you, you're never going to make it.
There's not that many of you. Hold on count, but I can't see real well. 1, 2. There's 2 of you.
There's more than 2 of us. Count again.
My bad. 1, 2. But you like a baby. I'm no baby. Don't take it personal.
Well, Brer Rabbit, count us for real.
Oh, why'd you say that? I'm a rabbit. You see how small our eyes are and how big our feet are? We don't count with our eyes. We count our feet. Didn't you know that about rabbits?
Did you know that? Well, I didn't know that. Well, how you going to count us with your feet?
Good question. I think if y'all line up one next to another, next to another, next to another, from one side of the river to the other side, I think I can count you with my feet.
Yeah, I'm glad some of y'all got this one already. Well, what do you think? Well, this is going to be all right. They lined up one next to another, next to another, next to a... From one side to the...
And now, hold on, Gators. I got a little ditty. I got a little song to go with this. 1 gator, 2 gator, 3 gator, 4, a 5 gator, 6 gator, 7 gator more, 8 gator, 9 gator, 10 for sure, 11 gator, 12 gator, I'm on the shore.
Now, I got to tell you something about the gators. They were used to songs about them, but they were always so nasty. They were so awful. This was a nice song. They liked it so much they started to sing. 1 gator, 2 gator, 3 gator, 4, you got it. 5 gator, 6 gator, 7 gator more, you got it, Tiny. 8 gator, 9 gator, 10 for sure. 11 gator, 12 gator, I'm on the shore. I'm on the shore. I'm on the shore. And they looked on the shore, and there was Brer Rabbit.
Thank you, Gators. Couldn't have done it without ya.
Somebody's in trouble. They didn't want to become a bunch of handbags and shoes, so they went bloop, 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 bloop down at the bottom of the river. Now, Brer Rabbit did nibble here, nibble there, nibble here, nibble there, but he wanted to leave postcards of affection. He wanted Farmer Angry to know that he was not mad at him for trying to get him eaten up by those alligators. No, not at all. Which is why he went to the cabbage patch, nibbled each leaf into the shape of a... yeah, a heart. He took a little extra, crossed over where the river wasn't quite so wide and there were no alligators, and went back home. Now, eventually, Farmer Angerman did leave his home, get in that boat, and row over to the other side. I finally figured out how to keep those rabbits out of my vegetable patch. Brer Rabbit's not going to get in my vegetable patch. He's not going to... Gators! Gators! Uh-oh. They came up. Boop, 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 boop. Gators, Gators, how could you let that rabbit get into my vegetable patch? Well, there was this whole thing with the feet and the counting, and we're sorry. Bloop, 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 bloop. They went back down. Now he snatched up a leaf in the shape of a heart. If he stopped long enough, thought long enough, his own heart would have done a flip. But he didn't. He threw it down and went, because not only children have temper tantrums, and stormed off. Because he could not understand the community service being provided for by the rabbits to make sure that everybody in the community knew that those that have much should at least share a... And that's the story of Brer Rabbit. All right. Thank you. Now, the one thing about that story is that story comes from a folk tradition that as adults, we need to be inspired. We need to have hope. Because the times can get dark, but they're only as dark as we are and we allow, as long as we are light, there is no darkness. As long as we are light of truth, injustice will always struggle. And that is what Ida B. Wells, that is the legacy of this teacup. Inside of that teacup, I want you to see truth and light and change. I know folks are a little upset right now with what they see happening in this country and outside. But Brer Rabbit was about speaking to truth. Let's all speak the truth like Ida B. Wells did. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'll hang here for a second while you're doing things if you'd like to chat.
Thanks for joining, guys, and thanks for the Periscope parts. That was amazing. Thank you. So, anybody have any questions for Diane? I'll ask for you.
Right.
You guys have questions for her?
Through the docent street. Here, can you tell her and then show her? Oh, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Thanks for joining.
No, because it kept sliding off my head before, so we were trying to carefully. Of course. So, I love that. Actually, the person who